20 episodes. We've reached 20 already. Wow. Growing rapidly. And I'm very excited about today's episode. One of my all-time favorite scenes, and probably one of the best on-screen gaggings there is. It's like fluid poetry. It just goes together so well. You have Amy Brenneman, who was gorgeous back in the 90s. I haven't seen her lately. Who ended up playing Judging Amy on her own TV show, if you ever heard of that show. But she's yelling and screaming because there's been a home invasion. Basically, Mark Wahlberg, Marky Mark, and his funky bunch show up at this house. His girlfriend is played by a young Reese Witherspoon, and her best friend is a young Alyssa Milano, who are both upstairs. And they just shot a cop outside the house. Basically, Bill Petersen from CSI was a jealous, or not jealous, but angry dad because his daughter was dating Mark Wahlberg, who he thought was a scumbag, who is a scumbag. And he went over to his house and messed up his house. Mark Wahlberg knew it was him. They had been fighting for a long time, came over to the house. Bill Petersen's a pretty rich guy. He's got like a private security at his property. The guy came down, they shot the cop, killed the cop, cuffed Petersen, and took him up to the house and forced their way in. Now they cuff Amy too, you'll see right here.
Oh God!
Laura, no! Yo, lady in the house, we're coming in. You just gotta decide whether he's coming with us, and fast. We'll cuff her.
Then Marky Mark tells his buddy to go get some tape.
Look, go find some tape. Look, go find some tape.
He comes back with the tape. Marky Mark's tying up Amy's ankles with a phone cord.
If you touch any of those kids! Calm down, Mr. Walker. Everything's under control.
I think that's what that is. Cut the phone line. You know, landlines. Landlines were a thing in 1996. So then the scumbag buddy, part of his funky bunch, goes upstairs, and Reese and Alyssa are upstairs. There's a skirmish up there. They're yelling and screaming, and Amy's cussing, yelling at him to stop. And right as she goes to drop the F-bomb, he seals her lips with, if you can zoom in, you'll see it's my Sam Nashua tape. And yeah, it's just a good scene, real good close-up, and they captured everything just fluidly. Gotta love a good on-screen gagging, and this is probably one of the best ones. Nobody else has this clip on YouTube. Whether or not you've seen this movie or not, I don't know. It's kind of an interesting film because it has a bunch of people who went on to become really famous. They were all kind of already well known. Bill Petersen had been in some movies in the 80s and early 90s too, but obviously he didn't become famous until CSI, which did not start for a few years after this. So I'm sure we'll end up seeing him again, probably in some CSI clips at some point. That'll probably have its own week. We already saw a CSI New York clip. I'm sure there could be a CSI New York week, Miami week, and the regular CSI week. Probably not a CSI Cyber week, because that show got canceled after one season, so it's probably not enough for a full week. But Petersen became famous a few years later. Amy Brenneman would get her own show, like I mentioned, Judging Amy, a few years after that. Marky Mark was already famous, pretty teen heartthrob for being a singer, but up until this movie, he hadn't done any acting really, except it was in the movie The Basketball Diaries with DiCaprio. But I don't think he'd really done much anything other than that. And Reese Witherspoon was in a movie in 1992 called The Man in the Moon, Other than that, she really hadn't done much yet. She become really famous, obviously. And Alyssa Milano wouldn't star in Charmed for another 2 years after this movie. So we'll see. We'll see both Reese and Alyssa again on this show. But yeah, so all these people who were just kind of becoming stars all came together on this one movie back in 1996. So it's a decent movie. I've watched it all the way through. I think a couple times. It used to be on USA Network a lot when I was younger. Yeah, so it's not bad. So we'll check out the scenes. I'll have the good parts highlighted. Oh yeah, and then yeah, I'll show you the actual on-screen gagging first. Okay, now after that, there's still a big skirmish upstairs, and Marky Mark tosses Bill Petersen over his shoulder, carries him out.
Come on, Mr. Walker. Time to give away the bride.
And then the little putt's son, who escaped through the window, dove off the window and mowed some guy down in a car. Then he comes in, sees his mom there. There's a good close-up of Amy. She motions to him that her hands are cuffed, so he has to run outside to the cops' corpse and pick the keys off his body. But these close-ups are pretty good too. And that's all we got for Fear. Unfortunately, it wasn't longer. Yeah, not. And why didn't somebody take the tape and go upstairs to Alyssa and Reese? I don't know. But that's just me. That's how I would have done it. So, yeah, we'll see those two again, though, later. Don't worry about it. And I guess tomorrow we'll wrap up Home Invasion Week. Don't forget to continue to vote down there between the three babes of your choice. Jessica Alba right now is leading. I think Cameron Diaz and Pamela Anderson each have a point on one of the videos. But it's looking right now like Jessica Alba week, which will be very good. So, subscribe down there, like down there. Thank you.